Hello everyone, my name is Benjamin Chingwe. I'm going to be taking you for ICT and Cyber. I believe this is the Diploma Part 2 class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the course outline for ICT and Cyber for Diploma Part 2. And I'm going to give an overview of each and every topic so that we are aware or we are informed of what exactly we are going to be talking about. Basically, cybersecurity emanates from what is called the cyberspace. Cyberspace basically is the space where we pass our information, that is the internet, the GSM phones, that is the cell phones, and all other communication platforms. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to cover the history of cybersecurity, where exactly or when exactly cybersecurity started, what is it all about. In talking about the history of cybersecurity, we will see that it evolved from computer security. When the computer was developed and it worked as a standalone, there was a lot of information which was put into the computer. So the computer needed to be secured, basically, that is putting on a password on the computer, creating user accounts, separate user accounts for separate users, so that the data for separate users is kept secure from other users. Then when networking started, when computers were connected together to form a network, that's when network security came about. Network security, basically, we are saying we are passing information from one computer to the other through some communication media. It may be copper, fiber, wireless. So basically, we need to protect the information as it moves from one computer to the other through the communication media. So that's where network security comes in. So network security involves computer security because we have the computers which need to be protected, as well as the communication media together with the intermediary devices, that is the devices that are used in connecting the network or in the network connections and passing on the information from one computer to the other. Then network security evolved into information security. Information security, basically, we are saying we are now trying to secure the information that is within the computer, that is when it is at rest in the computer, and when the information is traveling or is traversing through the network. So basically, that's what cybersecurity is all about. Then from there, we want to talk about what happens if there's an incident, that is, if the information is sort of compromised, or somebody gets hold of that information, or somebody gets into a network. What exactly should we do? Or what should we do in order to prevent or in order to minimize the compromise of information within the computer, the network, and the network? So basically, we are going to be talking about incident response plan, the disaster recovery plans, the business continuity plans, in as far as ICT is involved. Then we're also going to talk about classification of disasters that may or can affect our computer networks. Then we are also going to talk about end user education. Our users, those who are on the cyberspace on a day-to-day basis, those who use the computers and the networks, they need to be aware of the dangers which are found on the cyberspace, what they should do, how they should behave when they are on the cyberspace, what is expected of them in order to safeguard our information and data on the cyberspace. Then we go on to topic number 2. The cyberspace basically is made of structures which are known as cyberstructures. These cyberstructures, basically, we are talking of the users, those who use the computers and the networks on a day-to-day basis. They are part of the cyberstructures. The workstations, that is the computers, the servers, the networking equipment, the communication media, all those are also part of the cyberstructures. The software, that is the software which we are using for connecting the computers, the software which we are using in the computers, that is the operating systems, the application softwares, you name it. All those are part of the cyberstructures. The computers, the servers, and the networking equipment which I talked about, all those are classified as hardware. Then we are also going to talk about the effect of unlicensed software. We're talking about software there as a cyberstructure. We're also going to dwell much on the effect of unlicensed software on our security on the networks or on the cyberspace. Then we will go on to talk about computer and cyber threats. What are the threats that are found in the cyberspace? What are the threats that are found within the computers? How are we going to detect these threats? And what are the symptoms we see that our system might have been affected by particular threats? Then after that, we will talk about the cybercrime and laws. Cybercrime, basically, those are crimes that are committed using the computer as a tool, or crimes committed against the computer. All right. So we're going to talk about common internet crimes, those which are found on the internet, or crimes that are found on the network. And then we are going to talk about a bit of how you can avoid or minimize being attacked by cyber criminals. Right? Then we're also going to talk about the cyber laws. Basically, cybersecurity, the cyberspace knows no jurisdictional boundaries. That is, the territorial boundaries we are aware of do not affect the cyberspace. People can communicate like what you're doing. You can communicate on WhatsApp or on the internet, on Facebook, on X, on LinkedIn. You can communicate with anyone else in any part of the world. Right. Now, the laws from one country the laws differ from one country to the other. Some countries don't have cyber laws. In some countries, cybercrime in one country might not necessarily be a cybercrime in the other country. Take, for example, pornography is a crime in Zimbabwe, but it's not a crime in the United States of America. So a person in the United States of America can perpetrate a cybercrime to a person in Zimbabwe. But now it's very difficult now to prosecute somebody in the United States of America when you are in Zimbabwe. And if ever you go to America, you want to prosecute that person, maybe you contact Interpol, they will tell you that it's not a crime in the United States. Your crime in Zimbabwe is not a crime in the United States. So there is no harmony in cyber laws the world over. So it becomes very difficult to prosecute cyber crimes, especially if they are committed across jurisdictional borders. Right? Right. The other thing is cybercrime can be cyber crimes can be committed across jurisdictional borders. Like somebody in the United States can attack or can steal money from a bank in Zimbabwe. Then it's very difficult to detect if that person exactly is in America or it can be anywhere else. Because what happens in the cyberspace, people are recruiting other computers to commit crimes so that they hide behind the computers which they have recruited. These computers are called zombies. They are recruited and they are remote controlled by the perpetrators of the crime so that they're used to attack other computers in other parts of the world. And now it becomes very difficult to detect or to ascertain where the cybercrime or is being perpetrated from. Right, we are slightly going to talk about, just to discuss about how you can track cyber criminals, but which is very difficult. It needs professionals to do that. Then, topic number 5, we are going to talk about what is called cybercrime first responder. As security officers in your organizations, have been computerized or are in the process of being computerized, cyber crimes will be committed in your organizations or your workplaces. As security officers, you are the first people who are called to respond to these kind of crimes. So you must know the procedure and you must be prepared to respond or to be a cybercrime first responder. So basically, we are going to be talking about planning and preparing for response whenever you're called to a cybercrime scene. We're going to talk about the physical location. We're going to talk about the personnel, and we are going to talk about the computer systems. Basically, you need to know what to do when you get to the physical location where the cybercrime has been committed. You have to know who to contact or who to pass your information to, and you must be aware of how computer systems work. Otherwise, if you respond to a cybercrime without this knowledge, you will destroy some of the evidence and then the criminal will go scot-free. Right. We are also going to talk about handling evidence at the crime scene. Evidence for cyber crimes is very difficult, is very different from evidence from traditional crimes. Evidence of cyber crimes can easily be destroyed, can easily be changed, its format. If it is not collected in the proper manner, it might not be admissible in court. So we are going to talk about how we handle evidence at the crime scene, how we're going to secure the crime scene, recording and photographing this crime scene, and the procedure for shutting down computers. If you get to a crime scene, the computers, maybe they have been used to perpetrate a cyber crime, or a crime has been committed on the computer. You need to know exactly what you should do. Otherwise, you will destroy very crucial evidence which might lead into the criminals going scot-free. One other thing, electronic evidence, that is evidence which is found on a cyber crime scene, is very fragile. If not handled in the proper manner, you can lose it, and it might not be admissible in court. Right. So we're going to talk about how we shut down the computers, and we're also going to talk about how you preserve the information while you're taking it to, maybe to the experts, that is bagging and tagging. You have to put all the gadgets you find in polythene bags, that is plastic bags, those ones which are silver, those are called polythene bags, and you need to put tags on all the evidence you will have collected. Right. One other thing which is very important is you have to document everything you do on a cybercrime scene. That is part of handling the equipment. And also you have to photograph all the evidence and all the procedures you do on the crime scene. Right. Then we are also going to talk about the modern communication systems. Remember, I said the cyberspace consists of all communication equipment. That is the telephone, the landline, wireless communication, cellular communication, that is the cell phones, and satellite communications. Usually the one we use for DSTV and so forth. It's also used for communication. So you must have a general idea, or you must know basically how these particular communication networks operate and what equipment is involved, so that you have basic knowledge of the cyberspace. Right. The seventh topic we're going to be talking about is e-commerce and its security. E-commerce basically is electronic commerce. What we are saying here is we are buying and selling over the internet. Right. Why buy and sell over the internet? Right. Business have realized that the customers have moved to the internet. People are using the internet more than any other platform to do their business, entertainment, education, and what have you. So the business people have moved from the brick and mortar stores or the brick and mortar business to electronic commerce that using the cyberspace. So the cyberspace is where the money has moved to. Criminals follow where the money has gone. So the criminals have followed to the cyberspace. People are buying over the internet. People are buying vehicles from Japan, from all over the world, over the internet. People are buying from Alibaba, they're buying from Amazon, and a lot of e-commerce was developed during the COVID era. You can even buy your groceries, you can buy even your fast foods over the internet. So a lot of money is moving on that end. So the cyber criminals have moved there. Now we are transferring money electronically from one platform to the other. That is e-commerce and e-finance. Cybercrime criminals have moved on there. We must secure that form of business. So that's why we're talking of e-commerce and its security. So we are going to be talking about the websites, like the Amazon websites, the B-Forward websites, and all the other websites where money moves. And we are going to see how these websites can be secured. And we are also going to learn about how you can identify a secure website and an unsecure website. Right. So that is, we are going to introduce e-commerce, then the e-commerce websites. I understand all of you have got a basic knowledge of ICT. You have covered the internet and the World Wide Web, and you know exactly what the World Wide Web is. You know what a website is. You know what a web page is. So we're going to be talking about e-commerce websites, and then we are going to talk about web security. How do you identify a secure website? That is the HTTP, which is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is not secure, and the HTTPS, that is the Text Transfer Protocol, which is secure, which can be identified by an S at the end, or you can identify it with a padlock sign. Right, so we're going to talk about the kind of security, web security, that is used there. That is the secure sockets layer, that is the SSL, and the transport layer security, that is the TSL. Right, from there, we are going to talk a bit about information security policies. Most organizations have gone digital. They've introduced ICTs within their premises, but now most organizations don't even have the ICT policy. How people should behave or how people should use the ICTs. It is very safe and proper for an organization to have an ICT policy, guidelines on how people should use the organization's ICT resources. Right. Then from there, organizations should have an information or a cyber security policy on how the ICTs or the organizational ICTs should be protected and what security measures should be put in place, what security training should be offered to the users, what awareness programs should be put in place so that all the users are aware of the dangers of using the cyberspace so that everybody within the organization can use the cyberspace in a safe manner without endangering or exposing the organization's information to the bad guys. So we are going to talk about security policy. We are going to talk about policies and procedures and other documents which are required in order to have a secure cyberspace. We are also going to talk about governing policies. There must be some governance within the organization in terms of cybersecurity. We're also going to talk about the technical policies. Remember these ICTs, there are people who come and repair. Some organizations outsource technical services. Some organizations have got their technical people. So there must be policies regarding how the technical people are going to be moving around within your cyberspace. Remember, some organizations, if who outsource, might be in danger that they might be held at ransom by the technical people of the technical people they hire to service or to repair the equipment. Then we are also going to talk about end user policies. Policies which guides how the users behave on cyberspace, what the do's and don'ts in cyberspace. And then we are going to talk about how an organization or how organizations should create security awareness. That is, we're going to talk about cybersecurity awareness, cyber training, and basically education. To have a safe cyberspace or safe ICT environment within an organization, you must have an informed labor force, a well-trained labor force, and the educated and well-trained technical staff that will keep your organization and data safe. Remember, information is the most valuable asset of an organization, so it should be kept safe and secure. That marks the end of my overview of the course outline. Some housekeeping issues. I'm going to give you 2 assignments, and those assignments will constitute part of your coursework. As you are aware, copying is an academic offense. If you happen to copy each other, I'll mark your assignments, divide the mark by the number of people who would have copied each other, and each of those individuals will get that mark because it will be combined effort. So I'll just divide the effort amongst those who will have copied each other. Assignments are more of copy work. You are copying from other resources. So put as much information as possible on your assignment. Assignments will help you when you're revising for the final examinations, and you won't be surprised to find some of the assignment questions within your final examinations. So whenever you're doing an assignment, just do it wholeheartedly, and remember you'll be preparing for the final examination. Right. Cybersecurity now is still a developing field. There are a lot of information, or there's a lot of information about cybersecurity on the internet, but there are no specific textbooks which talk about cybersecurity as an overview. Most of them, they specialize in particular topics in cybersecurity. So use the course outline to research. I'll send you some reading materials, and if you have any questions, you can forward them through this platform. Then I'll attend to them. I'll answer the question for the benefit of everyone in the class. So if there are any questions, you can forward them. For now, I'm done. Thank you for listening.